This is episode 60 of the Out of the Minds podcast. I'm Sean Oakley.
And I'm Sam Cooper.
Ah.
And today we have a match between Sean and Sam. It's fresh and new and exciting.
Or to look at it from a different direction, we're back to regular programming.
Also that.
Yes, so it's actually quite an interesting game, certainly from my point of view, from a psychological point of view, and we'll talk through it during the game. But this is a match we played a couple of days ago, and I'm still continuing my Republic practice. And you brought something a bit meta.
Yeah. So for some here we go. Here's some fluff, some backstory for me. Is that whilst I understand intuitively that Firesprays are great, I have literally never had them do anything in a game other than die horribly. So in an attempt to not just base my entire analysis on the results of games, I'm going to try and force myself to buy these Firesprays that are supposed to be so good and are winning tournaments, and see if I can make them work for me.
So,
simple as that.
On that note, do you want to just...
Spoiler alert, I'm flying double Firespray.
I was going to say, do you want to just run through the list quickly?
So I'm playing Separatist Firesprays. So I've got Jango Fett with Notorious, Count Dooku Crew, Thermal Detonators, Contraband Cybernetics, the Slave One title, and a Veteran Tail Gunner for that spicy double tapping. I've got Zam Wessel in the Firespray with Trickshot, Savage Press, Thermal Detonators, and Contraband Cybernetics. And I'll be honest, Trickshot is only there because I was like, 4 points, sure.
I mean,
that's about it. It literally is just filling out points.
In this day and
I
age,
reckon there are arguments for
with
different.
Well, I mean, with
talents.
with Rebel Alpha trying for Trickshot and a lot of chaff around, it's not necessarily a bad sort of just go to.
Yeah, because in the original incarnation of this list, that was because I forgot Savage Press existed. That was Count Dooku. That was Palpatine Crew, who was 14 points, and that rounds out the thing. And finally, rounding out, I've got DFS 311 with grappling struts, a shield upgrade, and independent calculations.
Yes, if you're watching the this on YouTube, ignore the overlay because apparently on Yasby, when you put the modification into the same thing, it deletes it and then wipes everything. So the one we got didn't have those upgrades on. You will see in a minute after we work that one out, adding a shield in. But yeah, it's got a shield, it's got indies. Okay, so
and that's that.
So my Republic has kind of reverted a little bit because there was a loadout on Hound that I wanted to try, and that is basically 7th Fleet Gunner, Corky Cries, isn't it? I'll get my pronunciation right.
Yeah,
Corky Cries, and Satine Cries. And so, for people who don't know, Corky's ability is when a friendly ship in your front arc at range, I believe 1 to 2.
1 to
2. Becomes the defender, you may transfer 1 green token to it. And then it also has a second part of when a friendly ship in your front arc at range 1 to 2 defends, if you're obstructing the attack, the defender rolls 1 extra defense dice. And then paired with that is Satine. And Satine's ability is at the start of the engagement phase, all friendly ships spend 2 charges, and she has 1 recurring, so every other turn. And at the start of the engagement phase, friendly ships may gain a focus token. If they do, they gain a deplete token, or they may gain an evade token and take a disarm. So the basic trigger with that, with Hound, as regular listeners will know, his ability to take off tokens, is he can... Someone in his front arc takes a focus. They then gain a deplete. Hound then takes that deplete. Then Hound himself triggers for Satine, can take a focus, can take another deplete. Yes, he's double depleted, but, it's the lat. You're not worried too much about the lat shooting. Which means you've effectively given someone a free focus. Hound then has a focus to pass over to people when they defend, which, if they've already got a focus, frees them up for attack a bit more, and so on. So yeah, it was an interesting combination that I wanted to try. And then to go with that, I felt that you'd actually want as many ships as possible, I suppose, to go with that to keep options open. So I've reverted back from the 3 Jedi I've been flying recently with Hound to 2 Jedi and 2 clones. And to that end, we've got Obi-Wan Kenobi in the Etta with R4, Heavy Laser Cannon, Patience, Heightened Perception, and Trick Shot. I've gone with Heightened Perception over Shattering Shot because, although I know I was playing you, Sam, and Shattering Shot is great against droids, I think in the
grand scheme
of things, I think Heightened Perception for when you come up against those I6s and you need to shoot first.
Yeah, makes sense.
The Trick Shot, I'm still umming and ahhing about. Could become elusive and something else.
I think Trick Shot's fine. Like, if nothing else, like, it just makes Obi more reliably a 3-dice ship.
I also like it, because it works on the HLC, which means obviously if I get a bullseye obstructed, it's 5 dice at any range. But I don't mind Trick Shot so much because effectively it's a free mod, whereas Shattering Shot, you're spending that force, and we all know how bad I am for my force management, so one more thing isn't good. And then with that, I've got Luminara in the CLT with Patience, R4P17 and the CLT config. And then Contrail and Click, pretty much flying what I was flying them with before I went to 3 Jedi. So Contrail's got an R3 Besh Prox Mines, Synced Console and Dedicated. And Click has R3 Besh Proton Bombs and Dedicated. And yeah. So, we are playing Assault of the Satellite Array. Which is interesting because that slightly favours you in the sense that... Actually, I don't think it favours anyone.
I don't think this favours anyone. I think...
You've got the medium bases, but I've got the bodies.
You have more. Yeah. Like, I think it evens out.
Yeah. Right. So, objectives. Effectively the wonky cross again.
Yeah.
We've both placed one as close to our board edge as we can, and then slightly off-centre on both our rights. And then the ones we placed on our opponents are basically as close to the centre line as you can on the opposite side. So,
yeah.
So
my thinking here was, because I was like, oh, maybe I want a bit of a cluster because I got medium bases, I can like force things. But actually, then I thought, I don't want to make it easy for you to just have a bunch of bodies in the same spot.
Yeah.
Because I figured you could more easily stick around with at least someone to contest than I would be willing to do.
Yeah. So objectives. We've done objectives. Let's try that again. So obstacles. You were first player. And
yeah,
basically did your standard.
Yeah, I gave DFS a rock to sit on. Next to my home objective.
So at that point, I'm kind of like, right, well, we all knew that one was going there. You've got 2 medium bases. Yes, I know the Firesprays are reasonably manoeuvrable, but it's still a medium base. So I want to kind of try and create a rough cluster that's easier for me to zigzag through and try and get the obstructive shots with Obi, etc. So I stick one, basically range 1 of yours on the left. No, sorry, on the right, just above the centre objective.
Yeah.
Also, another thinking behind that was to give you another target to maybe tempt you to put DFS on that one instead of the centre one. Sorry, the one you'd placed. Not that I thought you would, but it's like now you've got a choice of which one you want to go to, and I thought, maybe the DFS being slightly more central and near the bigger gap would make him more used to the Firesprays if they end up down there.
Yeah, I think that's a fair thought. But I kind of never entered my thing. I just thought that was like Firespray blocking, because my next rock, I just 2-2 it in your corner.
Yeah.
At your right-hand corner, I believe.
I stick the asteroid basically on the left-hand side to create a nice little triangle of the 3 that we've already got up there.
Then I basically 2 and 2 a rock on your left-hand side.
Yeah. And then I place the last one on your left, just range 1 of the one I'd placed in the centre. So we've got, as I'm looking at it, 4 in the top, a sort of triangle on the left and 1 slightly off to the right, and then 2 in both my corners.
Yeah. And I'm kind of all right with this because there's plenty of space. It's like, actually, this is weird. I feel like we're probably both right because in my eyes, there's plenty of space on your side of the board where I can look to contest 3 to 4 objectives.
Yeah.
And the flip side is true on my side, just because of the way the objectives have.
Yeah.
How have we both kind of come out all right?
Well, we have, but then,
Yeah.
ironically, I don't think both of us make bad setup choices, but certainly not ideal. And we'll talk about that once we get to where the ships are. So you're still first player.
Yeah, so DFS sits in front of, like, directly opposite the rock he's going to go and land on and stay there forever.
Yeah. Now, I've got to place the majority of my list, the majority of my list before your Firesprays go down. And I don't overly want to joust 2 Firesprays.
Makes sense.
I stick Hound in the centre as far back as you can, and basically there's plenty of... All the free space is on my side of the board. So what I kind of want to do is work out where you are, and then jet as fast as possible to the opposite corner, and then get behind the rocks so that you're forced to come round and through the rocks. And if you've stuck DFS on a rock up there, I might get a few shots at him. If not, it might force you to take him off. Otherwise, I have my list shooting at him where your Firesprays are threading through rocks. So to that extent, I put Luminara about a base and a half to the right of Hound. Again, just giving myself options. And then click about 2 bases to the right of that. So about a third of the way, maybe half the way to the right edge. Because click basically is going to one hard turn 1 and double lock. So I just wanted to give myself options of which side to go depending on where you put the Firesprays.
Yeah. So then when we come to I5, I put Zam like at a 45-degree angle at my right-hand corner, essentially at the opposite side of all the Jedi.
Yeah.
So I don't really want anything to do with that.
Which is fine. It then means I put Click and Contrail down on the right-hand side, on the opposite side to Zam, so that either you put Django opposite me and I'm just dealing with 1 Firespray, or Django's nowhere near and happy days.
Yeah, and so I put Django near Zam because I don't really want to joust it, and I'm happy to delay.
Yeah. So yeah, interestingly, we're talking about setup. You've ended up with your Firesprays basically tucked behind the rocks.
Yeah.
Which is going to, not hugely, but to an extent, limit options. And
see, I didn't see it that way. It's interesting, because I just saw it as turn 2, I'm through these rocks, and I don't need to worry about them.
But I think, my thought is, either your Firesprays are coming through the same gap 1 by 1, or you're splitting up. And like Django, if he turns into the middle of that triangle, it limits his options for getting out.
I guess.
I know.
Yeah.
That turn, it doesn't hugely matter because you can fire out the bum, but the turn after, I think for me is the best case scenario is to get you to do things like that. I just don't want to fight you in our empty space. To that extent, I think I screwed up a little bit by putting Hound in the centre. What I should have done was put Hound pretty much below the objective that's on my side on the right. Because if you set up where you... Basically, I want to gun forward as fast as possible and get behind the obstacles. Well, I can't do Hound straight because there's an objective an obstacle in the way. And by the time I get there, the Firesprays are going to have jumped on me.
Yeah.
What I should have done is I should have put Hound basically just to the left of where Click is. So that if you set up where you have, I can literally just gun straight. And by the time that the Firespray's there, I'm probably in line, because he can do a 3 straight.
Yeah.
I'm probably in line with that debris just above the centre, so maybe getting obstructed, and certainly the next turn able to dive behind. And the V-Wings and the Jedi are fast enough to, shoot up with that. It's the lat that slows it down. And if you'd set up in the other corner, there's still enough space to say turn 1, do a 3 bank to the left, and then shoot away.
Yeah.
So instead of hedging my bets in the sense of go in the centre, it gives you more options. Yes, but in hindsight, neither of them are good, I suppose. Or take too many turns.
Yeah.
I suppose is
And what we all know about this game is that there aren't that many turns to take.
No. But it is what it is. That's why we look at it, and I'll certainly keep an eye out for that in the future. So yeah, I pretty much said my game plan, which is try and dive behind the rocks. I'm not, to an extent, I'll play the objectives in this, but because I know how hard your ships can punch, I think I need to kill DFS quite quickly just to net myself 3 points and stop the calculates coming over, and then basically try and chip away at one Firespray.
Yeah, makes sense.
I think if I play the objectives game, certainly if I spread out enough to play the objectives game, you just start chipping ships off. And funnily, I think each time I lose a ship, despite the fact they're not throwing as many reds, I suppose it's more firepower in the sense that I'm throwing lots of little dice, so I want the spikes to go through.
Yeah.
Whereas you're throwing much more hammer blows, in the sense that, okay, they're 3, maybe 4 shots dice, but there's consistent mods on them, so you'll be getting consistent results.
Yeah, that's the whole point of this thing.
But
let's see what happens.
Let's get to it. So we roll off, and I am first player, which is actually quite relevant because it means after DFS goes, my entire list goes before the Firesprays.
Yeah,
which is quite a handicap. But yeah.
So DFS flies forward, double calculates, lands on the rock. Like he's basically doing that the rest of his life, as far as I'm concerned.
So Hound 3 banks to the right and takes a focus.
Oh, sorry.
And what I should have done here is rotated my arc, because my thinking at the time was, the next turn I 3 bank left again, and then I maybe 3 bank again to try and get the arc on DFS. But considering how fast Firesprays are, I think actually having the arc to side is just the right call, because I don't need to point at DFS if it's side to side. I can just fly by. So I think that should have been what I do there, because I'm not getting shot this turn. It's a free thing. I don't have Agile Gunner in this build for the free rotate, so I do have to be wary of that.
Yeah, a little more careful with where the Hound goes.
And also, I mean, I can't see why it would, but God forbid I actually needed a focus at somehow in this round. I could actually just Satine it as well.
Yeah, actually, there's a good point. Like, you literally have...
Give yourself a focus.
I needed a focus, here we go.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. But Luminara does I think 1 bank to the right and boosts just in front of Hound so that she's free to jet off next turn. Click does a 1 hard to the right, so basically the next turn I can turn behind the asteroid and continue up that side. And locks Click and... locks Obi and Hound. Because they're the 2 ships... I suppose they're the 2 ships I don't want you getting range 1 ones on. I feel like them going down hinders me much more than Luminara or Contrail. So
Yeah, I can see that.
Contrail does a 5 straight and banks to the left to basically set up either a fast straight run at DFS or diving onto objectives depending on where the fire sprays go. And then Obi just does a 5 straight and I think takes a focus because I'm happy where I am away from the fire sprays.
Yep. So Zam just does a 3 bank and a boost, I believe. Just coming down the side of this board, planning on just skipping around the rock, and Django does a 1 straight and a boost to the left, heading towards the center of the board, because that just lines up that I can just move towards, and if Hound is anywhere there, I just can start shooting.
Well, this is it, because the moment you did that, I was like, there's no maneuver that can do that Django can't get a shot on me on.
Yeah.
So I really think... So the likelihood is I'm forced to rotate. Yes, I can Satine this turn, but if I'd had it already rotated, then it's, you have the focus without having to take that cost.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like Satine, you kind of use it as I suppose, either when one of your other ships and not the Lat is going to have a fantastic shot, so they take target locks knowing they'll get a focus, or I suppose a get out of jail free. But that, for me, a get out of jail free is, okay, my opponent's done something that I didn't expect and it's caught me off guard. I could really do with this focus, rather than I did the wrong thing. That's just poor planning. But anyway, we are on to the next round.
We're on to the next round, and DFS rotates on the rock 90 degrees to the left and double calculates, because it looks like your entire board is going to my left, so let's point DFS that way.
Yeah, you're first player, so you will move Zam before my 5s. So Hound does I think that's a 3 straight, just trying to put as much distance as he can between him and Django, and then rotates. Click does a bank in. I think actually does a 2 straight and then boosts. Now comes the fun bit. Luminada has a 5 straight, and then I want her to fine tune barrel roll and boost. But I accidentally click barrel roll on Contrail, and then we can't get rid of it for the rest of the game. So yeah, ignore that.
There's a random mark ship thing, but sorry, the podcast won't see that.
What, the mark ship? Well,
yeah,
YouTube will.
Yeah, YouTube will, but the others won't. So
yeah,
okay.
So Luminara does a fine tune barrel roll and a boost, trying to line up onto the droid. But actually, I think in hindsight, this is a mistake as well, because I've put myself in the position where Contrail's doing a 5 straight, and I'm looking at that thinking that's damn close to bumping, if not bumping. Certainly from this head-down view, it looks like it bumps.
Yeah.
And I haven't lined up the bullseye on your droid. He's got 2 calculates. He's not on the Lat's art for rerolls. I think I could have waited another turn.
That gives me more time. That gives me more time to overcommit the fire sprays, because right now, if you go on DFS, like at least one fire spray is also shooting at you.
Yeah, and also the next turn, it would have to make you decide, because if I'm still down there, I could then gun in on the droid, or I could turn in and try and catch Sam with everything, and you have to make that decision with Django. So I think the barrel roll might have been fine, because that would leave me nicely behind, and I could do a 3 bank or a 2 hard next turn. But yeah, I think the boost is just a slight overcommitment. But hey ho. So
Zam does a 1 bank and then focuses, because I think the only boost that gets me past this rock is a banky boost the wrong way. So I just sit where I am a turn. I'm sitting on an objective, and I say, okay, that's fine.
So it's interesting. I did wonder if you were going to try a 3 bank.
No, I didn't fancy that one.
Fair enough. I looked at it and
Definitely
I thought it was close, but it does stick you quite far. And then you'd have a boost in and basically be flanking my list.
Yeah.
But I suppose 2 ships that make up 3/4 of your list, I don't blame you for being a bit cautious. But hey, to my 5s. And Contrail just skips past, and so much so that it literally is just. And then I I boost and link it to a target lock. And I lock, I think, Django and the droid. And again, I think that's a mistake. I think what I should have done was hung back, just taken the lock, not stressed myself. Because if Django does come in that way, then the shot's obstructed.
Yeah.
And yeah, as I say, like the V-wing, it's got okay blues, but it's straights or 2s.
Yeah.
And where I am, the 2s are quite limiting in the sense that Django can just sweep in and yeet me from behind. I can't too hard to the left. I think I'd end up on the debris. And their fastest straight is a 3. So fastest blue straight. So I think maybe they got a 4. But yeah, I think just being further back. Also because of the Besh, yes, it's only 2 dice, but the lock's going to make it reasonably consistent. I haven't got into range 1 there, so I think just sitting back at range 3, yes, you get an extra dice, but you've still only got 2 calculates. I think, yeah, I don't think I'm likely to do anything at range 2 either. So
yeah, makes sense.
Again, just slightly overcommitting. And then Obi just does a 3 hard, and then barrel rolls to the left, I think. Basically, just keep himself range 1 of that objective and give himself more options on the next turn. I thought you might come a bit faster with Django, and I thought I might be able to line up a sneaky bullseye.
Yeah.
But yeah. No such luck.
Yeah, because I have 1 straighted and boosted and focused, I believe.
No, I believe you locked.
Oh no, I took a target lock. Lock.
Oh no, yeah, you took a target lock onto Contra.
Luminara. Contra. Yeah, Contra's far.
So start of engagement, you lob a calculate over.
Yep.
And I Satine.
How surprising.
I Satine. So I Contrail takes 1 first because he's getting shot by Django. So he takes a deplete, which goes over to Hound. Hound then takes 1, takes a second deplete, basically, so that I can pass. Basically, I can pretty much pass 1 to anyone you decide to shoot at.
Yeah.
But I think that Django's going to shoot at Contrail. I'm not overly worried about your droid shot, so I'm thinking I pass the focus over. Pass the focus over to Contrail, and then when you shoot, I can spend that focus and still be double modded for my attack.
Yeah,
which
that makes sense.
Which means all I need then is 1 bit of paint, and it's guaranteed 2 hits. It doesn't matter which paint it is. But yeah. So you shoot. We check. I'm only just range 2. And interestingly, something I thought about after this game that I hadn't considered before. So my go-to was, you lob the focus over that Satine's given you. But it's any green token, so there's no reason why I couldn't lob the reinforce over.
Yeah, that's true.
Reinforce with the lat, lob it over to someone else if they're taking, more than 1 shot, or even just taking 1 shot. add that reinforce for effectively the guaranteed evade.
Yeah, I think that has more value if you're taking like a bunch of shots.
Yeah, for
one
sure.
Shot.
Yeah, for sure. Certainly not on this turn. But if I, like, for instance, if you end up jousting something with the majority of your list, you reinforce with the lat and then decide, oh, actually, I think Obi's going to take a lot of shots here. Reinforce Obi. Or, Luminar. There are options. There are certainly something to consider.
Yeah.
But, hey-ho. So I love the focus over. You Django stuff with Dooku and your thing for hit crit. I roll, I think, blank, evade focus because it's obstructed. I spend the no, you Django it off me.
Yep.
I hate Django.
This game was a good showcase for Django's abilities.
Yeah. So I have one evade, so I lose the 2 shields, which I don't think I've done on the overlay. Contrail shoots back into your droid and plinks the shield off. Ironically, not spending either of his focus tokens.
Well, yeah, that was kind of funny.
I mean, I have to, in hindsight, thinking about Django's ability, maybe I wouldn't have worried quite so much because the likelihood is I don't get to spend that focus anyway.
Yeah, there is that.
Or certainly not worry so much about, say, Hound taking one and passing over and just having a focus, which means Hound can clear it a lot quicker and still be able to yeet them off next turn.
Yeah.
Luminara has a randomly ranged 3 obstructed shot onto Django, which you dodge, and that's pretty much it for that round. Apart from your droid. Your droid has a shot.
Droid has a shot.
And I don't think droid does anything.
He doesn't do anything, but that's fine. He's droid.
So yeah, anyone watching, Contrail has lost his shield, so I clearly just forgot to update that. But half points are not a thing on this. So all's good. Oh no. Why has Hound got a strain? I must have dedicated no, I can't have dedicated somewhere.
I think that's 2 depletes, isn't it?
No, there's a strain on him as well. Look, it's just by his. Did he?
Notorious.
I say, did I just fast forward and did he actually have a range 3 plinking shot onto?
Wait, no. You satined, didn't you? So you took an evade on someone.
No, I didn't. An evade gives you a disarm.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm wrong there. I don't know.
There's 2 dice there. Hang on, bear with me. This is the peril of going at. Right, well, I've just put it down there, so I've got to guess that he, in fact, had a range 3 shot at. We can't have, because Django doesn't.
No, he can't have.
Well, I don't know. He's picked up a masterful strain there for something. But that is fine. Yeah, no one's in my side arc, so I certainly haven't. But never mind. Giving myself extra handicaps. But yeah, so nothing in around there. And yeah. So because you've done that one straight with Django, I don't think you can hard one to the left.
No, I don't think I can either.
Which actually kind of frees me to go in after DFS.
Yes. So this was interesting because I was like, in my head, DFS is already dead.
Yeah, see.
And I did briefly consider 2 straighting, but I just thought there's no point because I looked at Luminara and she 1 banks or something. I mean, in hindsight, or 3 straights, just jumps over Contrail and is right where a 2 straight would leave DFS.
Yeah.
And then Contrail does whatever. So either I stay here and take a range 1 shot from someone, or I move and take a range 1 shot from someone. And I thought I'd rather be here and be having the objective on the off chance I live.
Yeah. See, I did think you'd consider the 2 straight. For me, it's just a case of you're going to be where you are, or you're going to be too straight. So
Yeah, it's just the way it is.
pick something that doesn't bump either of those. And I actually cock up here because I forget that Contrail's stressed. So I dial in a 3-bank. Because I think a 3...
Yes, I'll admit, I definitely didn't see this one.
Because I think, in hindsight looking at it now, my thought process at the time was if you 2 straight and I 3-bank, I end up just behind you. I'm not sure that I do, looking at that. Or maybe just in front, to be fair. And then I boost, and then the next turn I drop a prox mine on you. Or you stay where you are, and I 3-bank up, and I barrel roll to the left and up, and next turn I drop a prox mine on you. Forgetting that A, the 3-bank isn't blue, and B, I'm stressed.
Yeah.
So, whoops. What I should have done was a 3 straight. Because a 3 straight lane lands me range 1 if you stay where you are, and if you do move forwards, then I can boost or barrel roll and probably be able to land a prox mine on you.
Yeah.
And Luminara is just, I think she just does a straight maneuver to jump over the far edge of that little asteroid, like a 4 straight or a 5 straight. But yeah, that's on me. But onwards we go, and I am first player again. Now, system phase. Obi does a barrel roll to the right because I just want to do a straight maneuver, and basically I was expecting Django to go slow again, or not slow but not fast. I was expecting maybe a 2 straight, and then I thought, oh, I can get a shot, maybe clip it through the edge of that debris. It doesn't matter if I'm sat right in front of him. Because for some stupid reason, despite the fact I actually fly them quite a lot, I continually, when I'm flying against them, forget that the Firesprays have a boost. So I just don't take it into consideration. I'm so used to non-small ships not having boosts.
Yeah.
Especially, just flying Republic for so long that, like, I just forget they have a boost, and it really does just make such a big difference on the Firesprays.
It really does.
So in hindsight, I was like, all right, well, that wouldn't have made a difference because you just boost out of wherever I'm pointing, and then to be fair, if you boost to the right, you get a shot out the back. What I think I should have done was the barrel roll that I've done now, 1 hard up, and then boost behind the rock.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
And it's getting my list up. It's getting my list up behind the objectives, like I wanted to do at turn 0. What I'm doing is kind of like seeing that you're coming quite fast at me, in the sense that the Firesprays are moving across the board reasonably clippy before I've got there, and just accepting that the engagement with the Firesprays is going to happen in this open area.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't think that's the right call. I could delay it. I mean, Click might get a bit caught out, but I just have to accept that and try and go as fast as I can and do what I can. But I think hanging, Click, Obi, and Hound are not going to annihilate a Firespray.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Whereas you can quite easily one-shot either the V-Wing or Obi. I think if you kill Obi, then it's game, so... But...
Yeah, if I kill Obi, I've got, way better odds at doing this.
Yeah. So, off we go. And you do not move. Just take your double calculate.
I just take my double calculate.
I do a 2 straight, trying to put as much distance as I can while doing a balloon maneuver to get rid of one of the depletes and my phantom strain. And I know where the strains come from. So when Luminara shot you, Notorious Luminara,
Oh yeah,
and then Hound takes
yeah.
the strain.
I thought it was Notorious somehow. I just missed. I guess I just missed when Django actually got shot.
Yeah. So I get rid of the strain and one deplete, and just take a focus. It also leaves me up by the right hand objective, so scoring a point there. Click does a 4-5 straight because I was basically trying to get him back with the rest of the list in range to use his ability. And then I think about it, I'm like, I can just see both those Firesprays turning in on me. Again, forgetting, because I looked at Zam and thought, well, Zam's not really a threat this turn. She can't turn in over the debris. Right? And then you just look at it, she just goes straight and boosts. And
yeah,
I just forget how much that boost swings the arc actually in to close the distance. So I take a target lock with him, and I move the target lock from Hound onto Django, basically trying to deny Django a range one shot if he gets it. I think actually what I should have done there was focused with him.
Yes, that makes sense. I was surprised when you...
Because I don't have Satine this round, so I can't just give myself focuses. But yeah. So Luminara does her straight maneuver and fine-tune boosts and focus to get a range 1 bullseye shot on the droid. And then I do my 3 bank with Contrail and then go, oh sugar, I'm still stressed. So, no, alright, fine. Let's just hope Luminara annihilates the droid.
I mean, you got good odds.
I do the 2 straight with Obi. And I think he just he takes an evade because I'm like, yeah, okay, if he does come in, I don't want to get shot. And
if I do, and then I start moving my Firesprays. I do a 3 straight and boost with Zam. And then a 2 straight with Django and just slides past the debris. And I'm a little sad at this point because what I wanted to do here was actually reinforce Django because there's Obi-Wan and there's Click there and I guess Hound and be in the Savaja Press arc for Zam, but I mistimed how far I would go, so I just take a focus because I'm looking at it. I think I've got a back shot into Luminara as well as a front shot into Click.
Yeah, I keep forgetting about your veteran tail.
Yeah, it's glorious.
Yeah, so you go into Click. And you do 3 hits, and I roll blank focus. So that is.
Then I yell Django.
Yeah, that's Click down to 1. It didn't have a focus anyway, so
I know, but I still yelled it.
So I'm guessing from that you did not have the shot into Luminara, because we're looking at Obi. I just checked bullseye; it's not there. So I do. I think I do 2 dice into your droid and spend the Click charge to deny your range 3 bonus.
Yep.
I spend the force for 2 hits.
I spend the calculate for 2 evades.
That's good. That's 1 calculate done before the big punchy shot, so all's good. Then we go to Zam, who I think goes into Click.
I think I'm going to Click again, just trying to finish it off.
Spends for... I'm pretty sure you Django a crit that turn.
Yeah, Django a crit. I get hit crit.
I get 2 evades, but Click dies.
Click be gone.
Which is a little sad because I haven't got a lot of value out of him this game. But that's me overcommitting. And some, 3 blanks and a focus. Or 2 blanks and a focus. Damn you. You can only Django one of them.
Yep.
So we do the Luminara shot. It's after the CLT and the focus. It is hit, crit. So,
which means my boy is dead.
Well, not necessarily. You could natty out of
Good
it.
Odds. Good odds on death then.
But yeah, you roll, I think, 1 eyeball, spend the calculate, and die.
Take 3.
And then Hound just blinks a range 3 shot into Django because I'm not shooting Zam. And then we do points.
I Notorious you because I can. I don't take any damage. Happy days.
And then I think we gain a point each because somehow Luminar is not range 1 of that objective. Dan be close.
Yeah, that surprised me as well. But hey.
So the problem I have now is like Hound's kind of almost strung out by himself with sort of Obi to back him up, but sort of just jumping in on 2 Firesprays, and that is not Luminara. That boost, although it's lined up the perfect range 1 bullseye shot to annihilate the droid, has left it, it's going to take me at least 2 turns to get back in the fight. Contrail's going to be at least 2 turns because he's stressed and facing the wrong direction. And at this point, I'm like just slightly worried you're just going to nuke Obi and most a Hound, and then it's literally game over. And I'm like, I've kind of almost resigned myself to losing this game because although the overlay doesn't show it, Contrail's down at 2.
I think it's a bit of an overreaction.
I mean, we looked at the dice stats. I think it was about this point, wasn't it? And I just rolled a colossal amount of blanks. I was like, all right, fine. But I generally thought, here, there's no way I stop you turning in and just killing Obi.
Yeah, I didn't see it that way because I was like, in my head, Obi's like long gone.
Where he can't boost system phase boost.
I figured you just barrel roll like 5 straight.
Then you just do a couple of slow straight maneuvers and shoot me out of the back.
Yeah, like I know. I just think Obi, he's either blocking one of my fire sprays or he's just long gone. Like he just
like if it was me here, I think if you think I'm going to long go,
yeah. So that's why I like in my head I just ignored you. Like I was like I'm not going to try and catch you.
Me, I think I do probably a 2 straight with Zam and a 1 hard to the left with Django. Because either you get great shots on Obi or you sweep both in on Hound.
I mean, that's essentially what I did, except I think I went a little too fast with Zam for that maneuver.
But we do go to this round, and I'm first player.
Yeah. And it's 6-5 to me.
Yeah.
We've traded DFS for Click. And I'm okay with this, but like, in my head, I'm kind of on the clock.
Click and half a contrail.
And half a contrail, but the contrail doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, it kind of does.
Does he, though?
He's I5, he's got proc mines. Although, as regular listeners to our podcast will know, when I play Sam, my proc mines have a bad habit of missing by millimeters. But anyway, to this round 4, and Hound does a 2 hard to the left and takes focus. Still depleted, but it's swinging my arc to where the fire sprays are going to be, and also leaves me range 1 of that right hand objective. And at this point, I'll just throw 1 dice at you, except it won't do anything, and it will shed the deplete. Luminara does a sloop. It's basically turn around. She sat roughly in front of an asteroid, but I use R4P17 to do a barrel roll, which basically next turn lines me up to be able to do a nice 3 straight blue and get back in the fight. Contrail does a 2 hard and then focuses. I am denied about the boost, but I was concerned that you 1 hard Django boost after Contrail and just take him down. Which, with no mods on the V-Wing and Dooku on your Firespray, is a reasonable.
Reasonable, but I think I don't know. I guess it's like with I would have had to. I don't think I could have realistically 1-harded and then thought yes, Contrail is my target when Hound is right there.
Really though, 2 health left on Contrail.
Yeah, but it puts Django in a bit of an awkward spot in between all your ships in the middle of nowhere.
I mean,
and yeah, I've got the front back, but
in between, like so. Yeah, I mean, I would have. I would have just been thinking that I can take a shot there, get another ship off the board, and then you may well, if you thought Obi was doing a 5 straight or a turn in, have a back shot on him as well.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
like for me, like I didn't even think about Contrail because I just didn't think he'd be anywhere.
Well, he's stressed, so it really shuts down that either I stay stressed again, or it's a 2 hard or a 2 bank. The only slower maneuvers I can do are a 1 straight and a 1 hard.
Yeah.
In fact, I can't even 1 straight. They don't have a 1 straight. So I could 1 hard, which is white, and I stay stressed. I could 3 hard or 3 bank. Although looking at that, the 3 hard might fit. I think the 3 bank would completely screw me.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I guess because to me, 3 dice with a force mod isn't good enough to deal 2 damage. Someone who has 3 agility. So I just didn't really think about it. Like if I'm going for Contrail, I'd have to boost.
Yeah, I mean, the way I was thinking was because obviously I knew what Obi was doing as well, but also what I thought you thought Obi might be doing is if you swing round enough that you just take a pot luck shot at Contrail, and I without the focus I'd be relying on natural defense dice. Which is the whole point of why I didn't boost.
Yeah.
And then, if you end up with a really nice shot on Obi out the back, then you save your Dooku for that and that. But yeah, I suppose it's just different trains of thinking.
Trains of thought, yeah.
I was looking at that thinking, if you expect Obi to jet off and he's not really a viable target, then who's the next easiest to kill? And I'd argue that is at the moment Contrail, because you
I just thought the next opportune target for me was Hound. Which is why I essentially do what I do.
Yeah,
because although he has a lot of health, I know how quickly things just melt when they have 1 agility.
Yeah. But anyway, again, that's the important stuff. Obi-Wan does a 1 hard to the left. 2 reasons. 1, I'm trying to block Django. And 2, I figured Zam probably does something like a 2 straight, and that'll nicely line up the bullseye, because I just can't remember that Firesprays have boosts. So, eesh. But, onto your ships. I take an evade, because I figured I'm trying to go for the block for Django. I don't want you to spike, so I will just have the evade to guarantee something.
So Zam does a 3 straight, and I boost after Hound.
See, now that was interesting, because I think you've got Obi in Arc there.
I don't. I looked at that and I was like, nah.
See, I looked at it and I thought you did. And I was genuinely surprised when... I wish actually we had it so I could zoom in. I was surprised when you went for boost. Hang on.
Yeah, so I literally looked at that and I just thought, not a chance.
So I am currently holding up a T65 quick build card against my monitor. And if you follow that line... Oh, I know it's not 100% accurate because I'm using card, but you're like crossing the left-hand nub there.
Maybe. I looked at it and I was like, not worth it.
See, I thought range 1 into Obi.
Because when I saw that, I was like, I didn't think I had range 1. I think I had nothing, basically, because I don't have Hound currently, and I didn't think I had Obi.
Yeah, see, I saw that, and when you said I'm boosting, I was just like, oh, thank God for that.
Yeah. Because it was like, nah, I'm not going to sit there and take a shot for free.
Fair. So yeah, you boost, and I do get the block on Django, who takes the red focus.
Noise.
Which I was interested by. Why the red focus?
So I took the red focus because I thought I still had Luminara in Arc, and so I could do the range 0 into Obi and then have focus and force for the shot into Luminara.
Fair enough. I just my when you did that was thinking, is it just hampers your, I suppose, your ability to turn in and follow the rest of my list? Because
Yeah, yes and no. But I just thought I'm happy doing a 1 bank next turn.
fair enough. See,
Um,
if that was me with
and
Django,
because I knew I'd done a blue, I knew I had pretty good odds at actually putting a lot of damage into Luminara.
yeah, like
Because Django.
I mean, you could have done a white and done it, but my thoughts there were if I was flying Django, I'd want to hard turn next turn.
Yeah, see, I'm not bothered by that one. I thought I'm all right banking.
Because my thoughts are, if you want to go after Hound, Hound's either turning up to the right or he's stopping.
Yeah, and if you're stopping, 1 bank gets you. If you're turning up to the right, 1 bank probably gets you.
Ooh, you reckon?
Yeah, 1 bank and a boost.
Like, if I'm turning up to the right, I'm probably 3 banking to the right.
Yeah, 1 bank boost. I reckon that would get you. That wouldn't be a good shot, but
fair.
But that's getting away because my call on what you were doing was you were going to stop. Yeah. So
anyway, so Django shoots into Obi, and
you're looking at Luminara's ability right now because I roll crit hit. I think I roll crit focus.
All right, so we must have skipped. I'm guessing you did nothing to Obi then.
Yeah, I did nothing to Obi.
So you go into Luminara. Yeah, you roll hit. Focus.
Yeah, crit focus, and you.
I Lumi
Luminara.
Yeah, because you're not on the balls. Like, because I know what Jedi are like, and hit crit. That's going to be a direct. We all know that's going to be a direct. So I think if I Lumi that, it's a guaranteed. I'm not dying basically.
Yeah.
Which keeps it keeps the point she sat on as well. And she rolls evade and 3 blanks. Maybe I did.
No, you must have decided not to.
I must have
you've got a
decided
loose
not to.
stabilizer here.
Yeah. So she rolls an evade and 3 evade. 3 blanks and 1 evade. And takes a loose stabilizer. So, I must have decided to keep the falls for defense, because I must have assumed on 4 dice I would have rolled at least 2 bits of paint.
Actually, I think the video went because I remember Djangoing you here, so maybe one of those was a focus.
Maybe one of those was a focus. Yeah. Again, it's forgetting the Django trigger. If I'd remembered the Django trigger, then I probably would have spent that force on Lumi's ability, because I'm losing a focus on.
Yeah.
Django. Either that, or I just looked down, saw the stress token, and forgot about what we actually did. But hey, Zam range 1's into Hound.
Aye, 3 hits and a crit, because I think I Dooku this, don't I?
Yeah.
Did I not Dooku this?
Yeah, I can't remember. Probably. Still 3 hits and a crit. I blank, so take 2 shields, 2 damage.
And a wounded pilot.
Yeah. I'm trying to work out if I actually ever remember to roll for that wounded pilot. Luminara has a range 3 shot back into Django for 2 hits.
I take a shield.
Which, actually, back on that, you forgot a Django trigger.
Yeah, I did.
Because it's defend as well, isn't it? So, but hey, plink a shield off. And so Hound takes I think, shot into. I take a shot into Zam, because at this point I'm not sure whether you were trying to double play me and do the hey, if you're in an attack arc and you don't shoot, bonus attack, and I'm like, he's got me range 1. Unfortunately, you weren't.
Yeah, I just get a
bonus attack, but luckily that bonus attack does 1 damage, and I roll an evade for change, so no change there. Then I think it's 2-1 to me on objectives.
No, it's 1-1, right? Because
Zam. Sorry, I forgot Zam's there. So 6-7. But at this point, I'm like feeling even worse than I was last time, because you've just stripped 4 damage off Hound. Lumi's only got 2 left. Contrail's only got 2 left. And yes, I've killed a droid. I've plinked 1 shield off the Firesprays.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, it's, you know, Obi's great. Obi's not going to kill 2 Firesprays by himself.
He might.
He's not. So basically, at this point, I'm like, I'm gonna have to get some stuff in and start shooting and try and plink away at one of the. You know, if I can knock the shields off and maybe a hull or 2 off a Firespray, and lose maybe 1 ship in return, preferably Contrail. Although at this point, my assumption is you're gunning for Hound.
Yeah,
So
to me, this is like, let's finish off Hound.
yeah, so this is the get my ships in, hope he survives Django's, which he should. 6 hull. I think he'd have to be unlucky to one shot in there, which then means at least I get a 7th Fleet gunner and fire convergence and stuff for the I5s.
Yeah,
because
makes sense.
I'm pretty sure he's going to die. So yeah, and then Obi, I again try and go for a block on Django again. So I won hard to the left and then barrel roll back up to stop a hard turn, because as we discussed earlier, that's what I thought you'd do. And B, also try and get the bullseye onto Zam.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Like, Zam is likely doing a 1 hard. So I drop a thermal just in case Obi-Wan does veer up towards that back objective. Just throwing up 2 straight, just like, I'm not overcommitting, just like, yeah, maybe Obi goes this way, maybe he doesn't.
Yeah. So Hound does the stop, because I could have banked away, but then he's just not contributing anything to this game. Lumi does a 3 straight. She fine tunes, boosts in, and takes a focus. And Hound does I think 2 straight down. Takes a target lock and locks both the Firesprays. And then Obi does his 1 hard and barrel rolls. Oh, Obi-Wan does 1 hard. Spends a force to take a focus because, hey, I've got the right Obi-Wan this week. And then barrel rolls. And then Zam.
So, yeah, Zam does a 1 hard. And here we go. We are at the mistake of the game. Like, unlike Overwatch's play of the game, this is the mistake of the game. So, I know what Django is about to do. He's about to do a 1 bank and bump into Obi-Wan. And that will basically give him shot into Hound and a range 0 to Obi-Wan. And currently, Zam is basically lined up next to Hound. Doesn't have a shot into Hound. Has a shot into Lumi or Contrail, and that's it. But currently is taking 4 shots. Specifically a bullseye from Lumi and a bullseye from Obi-Wan, which I think is bad. So I boost to the left, trying to get Hound in arc, because I want to put 2 shots into him, and dodge the heavy laser cannon.
See, interestingly, I don't think that's range 2, although it would still be 4 dice in the bullseye.
Yeah.
But I'd argue that the bullseye on Obi is better to take than the range 1 from Lumi, because I've got 7th Fleet.
Yeah, like maybe like I said, I think this is a mistake. But all I was thinking was dodge 1 shot and get an angle onto Hound. What I should have done is just reinforced and just shot anyone. It wouldn't have mattered. Heck, you have priority, so Obi-Wan shoots first, and if Obi-Wan shoots Zam, heck, maybe I get a free lock onto Zam. Actually, wait, I already have a lock on.
Yes, you do.
Either way, I should have just reinforced, because I'm taking a bunch of shots, because if reinforced at the front hits 3 of your guys.
Yes, it does.
But like I said, I was angling to get 2 shots onto Hound. So that's why I boost.
I was going to ask something, but I can't remember. The other thing it does is it takes you out of range of the right-hand objective as well.
Yes, but again, in my detailed game plan here, Hound is dead, so that doesn't matter.
Fair enough.
That's what I was going for. I was like, this is all fine.
if thinking ahead. Okay, so I do a one. It looks like that is a one hard
Yeah.
with Django.
Yeah, because you don't
Strange,
take.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, you don't take the focus because you're still
Yeah.
stressed.
So I range 2 into Hound.
For hit crit.
Hit crit. Happy days. I think this is where I do quit. This is the Dooku.
And still roll 2 hits out of hand.
Yeah, 2 hits out of hand and a crit.
Hound takes it. It's a damaged engine.
Yep. So Hound is on 3.
Hound is on 3.
We come to Obi-Wan.
So I am now about 7 fleeting here for the 4th dice, but I'm like, nah, I want that for Lumi.
The CLT one is the correct.
So I roll 3. I use the first charge of fire convergence and end up with 2 and a crit.
Yep, and I roll single evade, so I am down 2 shields.
2 shields. Then we go to Contrail, who has I think 2 obstructed. He bashes for 2 hits, and I think you roll 2 evades. No,
I roll 2 blanks.
2 blanks.
I take 2 more shields.
So that's the shields gone.
Then Zam has choices because I've got range 1 into Obi-Wan or range 1 into Hound.
At this point on 3, I think you range 1 into Hound.
Yeah, because it's interesting actually. Because I'm looking at so I have a force on Zam, and I have a range 1 shot into Obi-Wan with a target lock on the force. It's like looking at this. It's really hard not to wonder why do I just go for Obi-Wan here.
But Obi also has a focus.
Yeah, but Obi has the focus on the force, etc.
So.
But I do go into Hound because that was my game plan. Remove Hound. That means there's no 7-flip gunner for Lumi's shot.
Yeah,
and no fire conversion.
I do think that's the right choice.
It's 4 versus 1. I have the force. Kind of wish I'd saved Dooku for here, but like I don't know. You can't know that because I rolled nothing.
Yeah, so Hound's still alive.
I roll 4 blanks.
So we then move to Lumi, who does the CLT procket. She's 7 fleets and rolls crit hit. I will blank. I fire convergence the blank into an eyeball, add the eyeball for CLT, and spend her focus for 4 on a crit.
I roll a single evade, so I take 3 in a crit.
So down to 2 with a weapons failure.
I've got a weapons failure, but meh. I can't remember what my Zam trigger is. I think my Zam trigger was just gain charges, which is why with the another lock on Obi-Wan. And then Hound, range 1 into Zam.
Yeah, Hound range 1 into Zam with no mods, and rolls hit crit. Because, alright, fine.
I roll 1 evade, or 1 focus. No, I rolled nothing, in fact.
Nothing.
Zam is dead. And at this point, I know I've lost.
Yeah, see, it's weird, because I still think, if you hadn't done that boost, I think you kill one of my ships, and...
I don't think I killed one of your ships.
I do. Like, if you hadn't boosted, you have probably a range 2 shot into Lumi.
I know it's silly to do this, but we know the dice that Zam rolled. Zam was doing nothing this turn, no matter who she shot.
Yeah, but I mean, I think dice. Just because you rolled that on that one,
I don't think I kill one of your ships. Like maybe Contrail goes down.
I don't know. I see.
Just because. If Zam's reinforcing, she's got her single mod, and that's all she's got.
Yeah, but then also, to be fair, if Zam had reinforced, then Zam's still alive.
Yeah,
by a long shot. And then where my ships are, Zam can just jump over and shoot out the back next turn.
Yeah, like I said, the mistake was boosting because I wanted the 2 shots into Hound.
Yeah, for sure. And I've just gone from hang on, this looked like I had no hope, to suddenly, okay, if I keep some ships alive here, I've just got to keep this lit. I've suddenly gone from, all right, it was 1 point behind, but I was expecting to lose, well, realistically another 7, because I was expecting Lumi and Contrail to die pretty quickly. So I've gone from, in my mind, like an 8-point deficit to an 8-point lead.
Because for me,
it was never like that simple. I was always like, I need to like remove a ship, otherwise I'm just gonna lose. Because like I've had some good dice, I've had some good rolls, I've used my mods well, and I've traded, but in the end, all I'd actually done was traded one ship for one ship up until this point.
Yeah, but I mean, my flip side.
Like it's all well and good getting Contrail to 2 and Lumi to 2, but if I don't actually finish them,
yeah, but I don't think it's that. I mean, we still got 35 minutes on the clock.
yeah.
I don't think it's that hard for you to finish them. Like if Zam hadn't have died, you could just send one ship after each of them, and I think you're fine.
Yeah.
At this point, you send one after Hound because he's on 3, and you send one after probably Contrail. But that's me. That's I suppose my take on it and what I'd expect. But yeah, it didn't go that way, so I'm suddenly like, okay, I've got to keep Obi-Wan alive at all costs. Which isn't quite as easy as just, I suppose, turning away and running, because you can just shoot out the back. So I've got to make sure I don't leave you with good shots, so I'm forcing you to boost, etc., etc.
And it's very hard to run away from a Firespray.
Yes. Especially one that moves after you.
Yeah. But I'll be honest, at this point, I'd kind of mentally checked out of the game.
I mean,
I was like, this deficit is too much.
I mean, to be fair, I mentally checked out like 3 rounds ago, so it's only this one that like started piquing me again.
I was like, well, this game's over.
Well,
Not much I can do.
I mean,
I was surprised when. Okay, so this one surprised me.
This one gets Sam back in the game. So I completely forgot, despite him just taking it, because I always forget to put my crit markers down, about the damaged engine on Hound. So I was like, all right, too hard. I stay stressed. I dodge that rock, and then like, no, I in fact do a 2 straight stress maneuver and land smack on that rock. And I'm like, all right, fine. So he takes the damage. He rolls.
The irony of all this is that this move made what I'm about to do look so stupid, because I just assumed you would do it too hard or something to get away from the rock. So I just didn't imagine you being there. So my move looks dumb.
I mean, I didn't imagine being
there.
Just point out, I didn't take damage from the roll, but I'm not shooting. You very kindly said, "Oh, do you want to recharge your 7th Fleet gun?" I'm like, no, I cocked up. That's on me. Lumi does a 2 straight because I've still got that loose stabilizer. I'm also hoping to get a block on Django because I'm either thinking you're going straight because you expected Hound to go off up that way, or in a likely event, I think it blocks a bank, and if you're hard turning, you're still stressed, so you're not boosting or anything. Was the plan there. And I repair my loose stabilizer because I'd like to turn. Contrail, 5 straights and boosts, because I'm trying to get him basically down towards the bottom objectives and the right and away from Django. And Obi does a 1 hard to the right and takes an evade.
Then I pop my contraband and do a 4K over the top of Luminara. And had you actually done that too hard, I'd have had a front shot into Lumi and a back shot into Hound.
I mean, I'd argue the fact that I didn't see the 4K coming like any day of the week, and the fact that you did that, and I'm like, he's range 1 of Luminara. And
you know what's funny?
And it's in the bullseye.
I just realized, you know what's funny? Like I say, I mentally checked out, but like, had Hound done that too hard, like all of a sudden this 4K, if it goes well for me, this game is right back in there, because
that's like 9
2 health Hound, 2 health Lumi.
That's 9 points you can.
Yeah, but either way, you were stressed, so it's all good. I believe I take a target lock onto Luminara.
You do indeed.
And I take my range 1 shot, use Satine,
so
and everyone gets a bunch of things.
So I Satine again. Lumi takes a focus and passes the deplete to Hound. Hound doesn't bother taking a focus because no one's in his front arc. Obi and Contrail both take a focus and keep the deplete because they're not shooting. And actually, in hindsight, I wonder whether taking the evade with Obi might have been the better call. Because the disarm doesn't really matter. I'm not facing anyone. And then suddenly I've got evade, force.
Yeah, I think the evade would have been the better call there.
Because just in case I roll, 2 blanks. I think
and also it means you don't still have that deplete next turn because the disarm will go away.
Yeah.
And you don't like. I mean, I don't know. You don't like. Not that you really have to do a blue move, but like at least you don't have to do a blue move to clear the deplete next turn.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because I mean, on 3 dice, evade force has got to be 3 hit. Average has got to be 3 hits for sure.
Oh yeah.
Like 1 bit of pain. So. Yeah. But I believe you opt to go into Lumi.
Yeah, I range 1 into Luminara. I get hit, crit, and a blank. I target lock the blank into the blank.
But alas, Lumi rolls 2 crits and
2 evades.
2 evades. Takes the 1 crit. And it's
panicked pilot.
But I'm still alive, which I wasn't expecting.
And that's all that matters.
So the only shot I've got is the Lumi. It's range 1, no bullseye. I get hit crit. And
I get evade. I believe I spend the force, or do I take a damage?
No, you take a damage. I believe I plink 1 more shield off.
Okay.
And then you notorious me.
Yes, because why not?
Because why not?
I feel like Notorious might be coming off Django. He just doesn't seem to do it. He's like maybe it probably is better on Zam.
Yeah, because the problem with the Django is like he's more often than not he's shot before he dishes it out, and then
at least with Zam you get the bonus shots.
Yeah,
but that's fine. That's for later. But I have a point,
and I have no points, so it's currently 16-9.
And so this is fine on my end, but I've got a double stress Django. A bunch of people who really I need to kill. And Sean is already leaving to go and capture points. So I'm just like, I've got to hope that you stay in my range.
But by the same extent, I've got a double stress Lumi.
Yeah, that's true.
And who is going behind you because she literally has no choice. And I've got a stressed on an asteroid hound who's in front of you. Like, for me, it's got to be a turn to the right, or maybe, a 1 bank to the right here to try and get both those front and back.
Yeah.
But
your prox mine, it hits Django.
I finally get a prox mine that hits. And I think I blinked.
I lose both my shields.
Yeah, I think blink 2 more through. I do a 3 bank with Hound because basically, A, I want distance, and B, it lines me up to go straight next turn and get within range 1 of the top left objective. Lumi does a 2 straight. I actually wonder whether I should have gone faster than that. But hey, that's on me. And you do the 1 bank.
Yeah. Contrail does a 1 hard and then barrel rolls.
Yeah. Just in case you'd gone straight. Just in case you decided to go after Obi and then get Lumi in the back.
Yeah. Because Obi did like a 3 or 4 straight.
Obi did a 5 straight. That's why he's still depleted.
Yeah. So the way I've cleared that 1 stress. I've got a shot into Hound and a back shot into Lumi or Contrail. And yeah, I just got to rely on double tapping here. So range 2 into Hound. I get hit. And I Django you because you rolled a focus. Happy days.
Yeah, so you do the 2 hits, and that's him dead. I'm a little surprised you didn't just Dooku a blank on that one.
I probably wasn't thinking about it, or I was like, or I was being like, I need a mod for this back shot.
So yeah, I get that, but I was thinking if you just guarantee the 5 points from Hound.
Yeah. Actually, no, I know why I didn't. Is because at the time, I actually thought that I needed more than that to kill Hound. I had miscounted how much health was on Hound left, which is why I didn't mod my focus into a hit.
Okay.
Because I just was like, I need it for Lumi is the one I need to make sure I kill
Yeah.
because I'm heading after Hound at the minute.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I was
that's
like,
true,
I need another shot, and Hound isn't scoring at the minute.
Yeah.
And so I actually didn't know that this was going to kill him.
Fair enough. But you've killed Hound.
Yeah.
So that puts you 14-16 behind.
Yep. And I backshot into. I hope I backshot into Lumi.
You backshot into Lumi.
Looks like I do. And I get crit. Focus. Focus. Focus.
I Lumi that crit into a hit. I'm not actually sure why I bothered doing that in hindsight because I'm on 1 health, so crit hit.
So actually, yeah, don't you need all? You probably need all the force you can get.
Yeah. Luckily, I roll an evade. So.
All right, I must have used my force to get that second hit then, because
okay.
the fact that I'm not using the force on this when I roll
yeah.
all those focuses is a bit insane.
Yeah.
But that's why I didn't do the blank.
Yeah. And then
either way,
I have no shots.
I didn't think I'd actually killed you.
So for anyone watching, you score the center objective, Obi scores the bottom, and we click on the right hand one. It's like, oh, there are no ships. Come off it. Lumi's range 1 of this, and I think is this the one we no, we don't whip up a bubble on this. But it's
you've whipped out the range ruler.
Yeah, it's we think it's the barrel roll that has never disappeared was screwing it. So it's like, for anyone who's watching on YouTube, there's a range 1 ruler to. In fact, I think I actually just whip it across to Django as well, just to make sure that he's not. So yeah, that's 2-1 to me, which puts me 18-15.
Yeah.
And
so yeah,
I'm like, well, you're facing the wrong way now because Hound's dead. So all I need to do is score 2 points. If I score 2 points and I don't lose Obi or 2 ships, then the best you can manage is a draw by killing Lumi and scoring a point.
But that's okay. So for full disclosure for the podcast, that me scoring a point and killing Lumi, I think, is impossible based on where I am.
Yeah,
I can kill Lumi and I can score a point, but I cannot do both.
Yeah, like we talked
unless you mess up.
Yeah, the only way that I think it could happen is or the only way I thought it could happen at the time was if you one-harded down, because my first thought was to shoot click forwards on the other side of the center objective, and then if you one-harded down, and then if Lumi had hard turned to the left and boosted round, thinking that Django's just going to go up and try and get a shot out the back and end up in his side arc.
Yeah. No, I know Lumi couldn't have one-harded because she's still stressed, right?
It's a white one hard.
Yeah, but you couldn't.
I could have boosted, but a white one hard still swings me round. If I think you're turning up, then I want to get as far up the board, I suppose, as possible. But I could have 2-harded. But yeah, it's a tall order basically.
Yeah, like, because from my thinking, I was like, I need Sean to have screwed up with Lumi and stayed in and forgotten about the thermals, and Lumi's just like done a 1-hard or a 1 bank or something. Then I need to 1 bank to the right. Hopefully that doesn't touch the debris, and that will line me up a shot into contrail, because if Lumi has died to the bomb, then I can shoot contrail.
Yeah.
And then I still lose because Obi-Wan scores a point, and the next turn I can't stop him from scoring another point. Actually, no. At that point, if I've somehow killed both of them, I've won, haven't I?
Yeah.
But like either way.
Yeah, if you kill both of them, you've won. But yeah, I think in hindsight, I should have done my first gut instinct, regardless of even if I thought you were going to 1-hard down. My gut instinct with contrail was to 3 straight and boost. It puts me basically with the debris in between us and still range 1 of that center objective.
Yeah, because for me, Django is always going to the right, which is up towards the board, trying to get the shot into Luminara.
So you drop the bombs, both of them.
Yeah.
I do a 2-bank. And then I seriously consider fine-tune barrel rolling to the left towards the objective and forwards. Because I wasn't sure if it gave me slightly more distance to the bombs. But in the end, I decided not to, and I just take a focus. Contrail does a 2-bank towards Django to try and block because I thought you might come down that way, and then takes a focus because in my mind I didn't think you were getting a shot on Lumi, and I can afford to lose Contrail, because I thought that's the way you'd go. I went for the block, and if it doesn't work, so long as you don't get a shot on Lumi, I'm fine, basically.
Yeah.
And then Obi, Spencer Forster, purple Talon roll, just in case you do come down that way and land in this bullseye, and takes an evade.
Yeah. So I do my 1 bank. It clears the rock fine. I clear my last stress, and I'm looking at this and I'm like, well, I'll measure range, but Luminara is definitely not in range. So I just take a focus. No, I take a lock. I take a target lock to measure range, lock contrail, and I already know I've lost because Luminara is out of range,
and I've dodged the bombs.
Yeah, and the bombs did in fact miss. So we keep going, and I do actually kill contrail.
Yeah.
With I think hit, crit, focus, and I spend the force for 2 hits and 2 crits.
I don't think you do, because I've rolled defense dice.
Have you rolled defense dice, or did you put the defense dice there?
No, I've rolled defense dice.
Okay.
So hit, crit, but I roll evade blank, and Contrail does die.
Yep. So up to 18 points, and then you get 2 for Lumi and Obi, and it is 20-18.
So it was close in the end.
See, it's just the score is close, but to me, this game was lost 3 turns ago.
Yeah.
The Firespray being the Firespray, manages to claw it back just because it's hard to kill, and I dealt some damage earlier. But losing Zam, and to me that was okay, that's it. This is the game. You can now spread out to the 7 wins.
Yeah.
And my single Firespray can't stop you all.
Which is interesting because 2 turns before that, I was in that exact position and thought it had already gone. And I was just I think I'm just fighting the inevitable of your 2 Firesprays come around and start plinking ships one by one. And it's funny how quickly it can change.
Yeah.
If Hound landing on that rock had rolled a crit and, flipped a direct, could have changed the whole game, because then suddenly you're not having to go after him. And
Suddenly Django's following the other ships down rather than following Hound.
Yeah, it's a funny game that it can flip that quickly. Right.
But I guess one thing I have decided to take away is that Firesprays are clearly crap.
No, they're not, Sam.
Look at this.
Look.
I would have been better off with 2 infiltrators for all they did.
No, I mean, that's a lie. They playing to A shed loads of stuff, and you got unlucky on 1 roll.
If Zam had been Vizsla, he'd have lived.
And if Hound hadn't have rolled 2 crits and a hit out of hand, then you would have lived. If you'd reinforced, you would have lived. So I'd argue that your choices and a bit of dice luck cost it, not the Firesprays.
No, Firesprays, terrible. I have experimented with them. Time to move on.
Could I suggest another faction?
What? Scum and run some more Firesprays?
Yeah.
It's not the Firesprays that are wrong, it is a faction that they are in. But no, seriously, I actually think DFS is hilariously the weak point here. Because whilst I didn't mind trading Click for him, in the end, I actually think there is a better 3-point ship I can put. Because passing the calculates was nice, but it didn't really amount to much.
What's the better 3-point ship?
It's just a bombardment trying to prox mines.
Yeah, maybe.
Does the exact same job, but is a lot more hard to swallow, because when you go for him, he's just prox mine.
Surely you just throw him in front of the list and be like, shoot me or drop a prox mine, and you're not...
to be honest, no, I actually think he just does the exact same job DFS does. He's a little harder to kill because he's got an extra hull, and if someone does come in for the kill, you're just prox mine, because I'm not moving, so I'm never touching it.
Yeah, that's true, that's true.
You just set up a little defensive net around yourself and say, look, this point is mine.
Yeah, that's fair. Right, guys. Well, on that note, we'd better wrap it up. Thanks, everyone, for listening and watching.
Yeah.
We will be back next week, where I already know we do not have a Sam Me game, because I will be recording my league game with Mr. Chris Burnett, who unfortunately has won the league, We
Yeah.
cannot stop that because he's played he's played 8 out of 9. He's won 8 out of 9. The closest competitors are me and Sam, who have both lost 2 so far. So my goal is to blemish his record.
And by golly, you can do it.
Well, we'll find out next week.
No, I have my absolute guarantee that you'll definitely do it.
Okay. You heard it here first, guys. Commentator's curse.
Yeah, absolutely.
So every single time next week when we record that my dice are bad, I'm just going to be cursing you because you bad lucked them. The bad decisions, I will be cursing me. So I'd imagine there'll be a lot of cursing. But yeah, on a slightly happier note.
That's about it. Not much more else we can say.
No. So thank you guys. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, ta-ta.
Toodles.